Hello, everybody. My name is Trey Corpel, and I'm a solutions consultant here at ServiceNow. I focus specifically on our customer workflows solutions for our healthcare payer accounts. In today's demonstration, we are going to be talking about how the ServiceNow platform can work to manage your provider lifecycle and data management. That's going to involve everything from leads and opportunities, prospecting, quoting, and contracting, through credentialing, and then the support that's inherent in the relationship that you're managing with your providers when they call in about problems or address changes. The workspace that we're looking at right now is a good example of the journey we're about to go on. On one platform, we can be providing real-time reporting about the contracting, the address changes, the credentialing, or who's being added and removed from the network. A quick glimpse here, all of this work can happen across many teams on one platform so that they can work together very well. We're going to start our journey with a lead. Maybe a provider has just registered in the NPI database for the first time, and that information could flow over to our system naturally. Or we could have met somebody at a trade show, or they might have found us on the web. However they come in, we're going to be able to keep track of that and then nurture that lead until we understand who wants to join the network and how we're going to get there. As that lead gets created in the ServiceNow platform, we are going to have a 360-degree view of everything going on with this relationship. The emails, the phone calls, the tasks that are due, any appointments we might schedule to talk to them about what their needs are as a new provider. As that relationship continues, we're going to validate that this is a real prospect who has a real chance and desire to join our network. We can convert that lead into an opportunity directly in the platform. We're going to get that same 360-degree view for this stage of the relationship. And where this starts to get very exciting is that we can bring our robust quoting capabilities to play in managing the fee schedules that are going to be inherent to this provider and the work they're going to do in network. So typically, we know that our clients are doing fee schedule management across many Excel spreadsheets, SharePoint directories, claim systems, you name it. The information lives everywhere, and it's really hard to wrap your arms around it. We want to take that complexity out of the equation by giving a configurable process that's modern and experienced and scalable for our largest clients. We know exactly the plan that somebody's going to join and exactly the prices that are associated with it without needing to look up or go to any of those disparate sources. We're going to bring it all into one place. As we finalize those choices, that information is natively within the ServiceNow platform. And when this process gets completed, we're going to see, again, the extension of a single platform, taking all of this information into a fully managed contract lifecycle management solution, where we can configure the plan and contract types that we want. We can collect the initial data for the submission and send all of that information to our contracting team. Now, our contracting team is going to have their own 360-degree view, but everybody in the organization that needs to see this information now can. Contracting stops being the black box that we expect it to be, and now we can see our approvers, our reviewers, what contract documents there are, who needs to sign this, and perhaps most importantly, because the ServiceNow platform is configurable across your entire organization, we can also bring our credentialing team into the fold so that contracting and credentialing can live side by side in ways that are meaningfully going to drive change for your organization. As we open up what the contracting looks like, we can see that ServiceNow can utilize what we call playbooks. Here on the left is a playbook to gather all of the appropriate information, make sure that each of the teams involved in verifying that information can do their work, and then we can track the approvals at the end for who's going to be joining the network. But let's think about our provider for a moment. Typically at this stage of the process, they want to send information, they've given us some, they don't know where they're at in the process. Their experience tends to be pretty rough in a process that traditionally takes many weeks to complete. The ServiceNow platform can be extended to a self-service portal where we can now look, maybe we'd have knowledge articles, we'd have a chatbot experience for them, but maybe most importantly, what we can do is give them access to the entire process they're going to be working through. The same playbook that we just looked at on the internal side of the organization is going to be revealed here to our provider as well. So our providers are going to be able to input their own information as well as tell us their specializations, the networks that they want to join, has their license been suspended, or attach any files that are necessary to this process. So while they have self-service tasks, they're also going to have insight into what you want to share with them about where they're at in this process. This is going to increase your provider satisfaction, as well as decrease the amount of work you do in just keeping them updated as they call in or they email or they ask for updates. At the same time as achieving both of those goals, going to be reducing the amount of mistakes of passing information back and forth that might get lost in transit, misplaced in an email, not picked up off the fax machine. A lot of those problems disappear when we bring our providers and our support teams together on the same system. Now, dream with me for a moment and imagine that our provider has been onboarded. We've gotten through this whole process of contracting and credentialing, but then they move locations and we start getting checks that are being returned because the address doesn't match. So we can't make payments. Our provider's likely going to start calling us. Members are going to be upset. How do we manage these data changes, like an address update, on the ServiceNow system? Again, we see another playbook that comes to our assistance that can provide us what information we have in the system. We might do an automatic lookup with the NPI database and maybe a manual lookup with the state licensure board. And if those don't match, then we can record the information that we find in those other sources as we work to getting the correct address from our providers. ServiceNow being a connected system means that these changes and these updates are going to be pushed to external systems. We're going to automatically be able to notify relevant parties about the changes that we're making, and then push that information to our claim system, to our member directories, as well as assign a self-service task to a provider to confirm that the changes that we made are true, accurate, and valid. We can take that a step further too. Because we understand what your claim systems are, we can look up automatically all the affected claims that are going to be coming from this data change, update them and reprocess them so they never have to hit your claims operations teams who are working through all of the exceptions. Finally, we can send out the appropriate communications to all the providers and members who have these claims being fixed so that we're meeting regulatory and customer service satisfaction requirements. I like to pause at the end of this demo to briefly highlight all of the tabs we have open at the top of the screen. They tell a really wonderful story of the cohesive nature of the ServiceNow platform and how we can drive change in this provider lifecycle space. We started with an unknown provider. We worked with them until they became a prospect. We negotiated their fee schedules with them. We managed their contracting. We managed a customer service and a data change, all on the same platform. No other solution in the market can meaningfully do all of these things, and ServiceNow is uniquely positioned to help your teams tie together all of these structures. If this is interesting or valuable to your organization, we'd love to have a further conversation. My information will be in the notes of this video, or you can reach out to your existing ServiceNow support team to dive deeper into any part of this story where you'd like to start this journey. Thank you.